home opener in March. Looking like you're back on the field, get the team back out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. We're happy to be getting back, and we're excited that there's going to be some fans here as opposed to playing in a completely barren stadium. So we're excited about the opportunity to just come back and play again here and be in front of our fans.
Thank you very much. We'd like that first question. Please raise your hand. I can bring wireless microphone over to you.
Just whoever. Go whoever.
Everybody all at once. Bad goal, destination, first question. What do you anticipate from the opponent?
I don't think it's much different than what Houston did the last time they were here, in that they're going to be full of a lot of energy. I thought that in the game they were incredibly aggressive defensively. They're always dangerous on the counterattack with the game changers that they have in many different players, right? There's just a lot of different guys they have on their team, and it could be any combination of those guys. So we're going to have to be very attentive to not losing the ball in very dangerous situations, and at the same time we're going to have to be very patient, especially if they come on the counter and not diving in, selling ourselves, and making it even easier for them, because they can really tear you apart on those parts of the game.
Next question will go to Nathan Katie, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Hey Peter, you guys have played some games now in empty venues down in Orlando and then in Minnesota, and I know it's only going to be a small percentage of the stadium that will have fans in it tomorrow night. I was actually watching the Champions League final. I remember Eric talk yesterday. He had some pretty harsh words about just how hard it is to play with no fans in the stands. How big of a difference do you think it will make to have even a small portion of fans? And I don't know, what's your anticipation on what that's going to feel like tomorrow night?
Well, obviously, when we played in the stadium, normally speaking, it's a full stadium. So you're going to have, obviously, a small contingent of people that'll be here. So that just in itself will be different. But the fact, to your point, we've played a lot of games recently with no fans at all. It'll be a huge welcome by the players that, there's going to be fans here, because at the end of the day, the fans are what create the ambiance in any stadium. And, our fans are arguably right up there with the best of them, right? We might be a little bit of a smaller venue, but it doesn't lack for enthusiasm, that's for darn sure. So just having people here is going to be a big boost, I think, to our guys. And I actually believe that the other team will enjoy it as well, because I think that over the years, one of the things that people have said, that when they go into full stadiums, people have said, well, it's going to be really tough for the opposition. I totally disagree. I think it creates even more enthusiasm for the opponent as well to be a part of that game, just because the environment is electrifying.
Who would like the next question? All right. Aaron Ladd at NBC affiliate, KSHB. Appreciate that. There's kind of been a side of the field that look behind the scenes and schematically.
You mean you mean their left or our left? And in what we do?
Correct.
So look, in the last game, we started with Lindsey in the back, young kid out of our academy. He's played in that position before for us. I would say his best position is probably right back, but he does a very good job over there as well, very conscientious, great engine to get up and down. I don't think that a lot will change in his responsibilities, but I think that in every game that you play, the difference is the players that you play against. And they have a couple different players that he'll face that, as I said, they are game changers. So he's going to have to be on his toes defensively, and that needs to be his first responsibility before he can do anything else in the game. So I think it's going to be a really good test for him. I also think it's going to be a great experience for him, too, as young as he is. So looking forward to seeing that matchup, and we'll make the adjustments as the game goes, depending if the opposition changes their personnel there, too.
Any final questions from the group? One from Sean Goodwin, sir.
Peter, when you're taking your eye off the practice, how much is it what you want to do and how much is it adjusting to what you expect the others to do? How do you do it?
Yeah, I would say in my whole entire coaching career, very rarely have I adjusted one of our teams against the opponent because of something that they do. We're always very aware of opposition and what their strengths are, but I always coach our team to take advantage of what we're good at and try to make sure that on the day that's more successful than the opposition. So I'm more focused on us than I am the opponent. And then the final piece is that because the games that we're playing right now are so fast and furious, you know, you got 5 of the 6 games. They're in 15 days. There's no doubt that managing personnel is going to be an important thing. And I thought in the last game, other than the 5th sub, I thought we managed the right guys in the right places. And, you know, arguably I would say that we got away there with 3 points based on the group that we left out on the field at the end. So we got to continue to try and work towards that in this game and so on.
Next question, we're going to pass Bill with SB Nation. Lucio, you talked about how you did a good job last game. If Urian's still unavailable, will he or another player still step into that role?
Yeah, he did a good job in the last game. You know, there's a lot to be said for letting him continue on in the position. You know, there's different ways that we can play in there. So is it him? Could it be somebody else? Sure. But, you know, the easy thing to say is, look, he did really well last game. I have a lot of confidence in Boogs. The good thing is that what made him successful is not just his abilities, but it's also his attitude to be able to accept and take on the role. And that's what was good about him in the last game as well. So whoever's in there, I'm sure they'll have the same mentality.
Next question will go to Nate Katie, Sports Radio 810 Peter, you just referenced a lot of the subs you made late in the game against Minnesota. Most of those guys are young, homegrown guys that have come up through the pathway to the pros. And I know you've said a lot of times in the past that you're not about just giving those opportunities at the first team level away. These guys have to earn that. So I'm curious, maybe during the time in Orlando or the training since then, have they really shown you some things? What have you seen from those guys that tell you, yeah, I want to put them in an important game?
They've actually been doing it since preseason. They really have. The group of our homegrown players, you know, I don't know what it is. They've taken a big step this year. It's great to see. You know, a lot of times people throw in players, younger players, when they're up 3-4-0, 5 minutes left in the game. You're losing 3-0. You throw a couple guys on the field to get an experience in a game. You know, we were trying to close the game out, and that was real experience for those guys. But I threw them out there because I trusted the fact that they were going to work, and you know, I trusted the fact that they were going to get the job done. And I think that's a much bigger confidence builder, big step for their experience than just kind of ceremoniously throwing them out there when you're up 3-0. But it's because I have confidence in those guys, and the biggest thing is they've been working really, really hard.
Next question will be from Ryan.
I hate to harp on this, but it is a unique experience to have fans in the stands, considering all that we've been through, especially for our area. What are you expecting them to add to the game, and what's your confidence level that it's successful tomorrow, maybe more fans to come in for later games?
Yeah, I would say, to answer your question, yes, it is, because we've played in all venues that have had no fans. And I have to tell you, I mean, as a coach, just even on the sideline, and I'm not on the field, it's so stale in the stadium. It's so hard. You're trying to muster up some type of atmosphere within yourself. You know, look, when you're younger, you're not really thinking about it, but as you get older and you get used to it and playing in front of full crowds, you know, you can say, you know, you're a professional, you got to deal with it. Yeah, it sounds great, but sorry, but it's abnormal. You know, it's like if you got to drive every day 20 miles to work and now you don't have a car and you have to walk, it's going to be a big difference for you, right? So it's the same thing in this situation, but I would say two other things, and that is that, look, I think we were a leader in this space in trying to get back to training, and now I think we're a leader in the space of trying to open up our stadium to bringing fans in. I mean, obviously we've put a lot of work in behind the scenes to make sure that people are going to come and they're going to be safe, and we have all our protocols in place, and we put a lot of thought and consulted with a lot of different entities to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And the idea is if we can make this successful, that hopefully we'll gain confidence, not just us internally, but the UAG, and we keep growing from there, and hopefully we can increase the number of people that are here and still continue to do it in a safe way.
Final two questions. First, we'll go to Nate Buchanan, Sports Radio 810 Video. Peter, where you referenced mustering that energy up, to reference that Champions League final game yesterday, they were talking a lot about how the Bayern Munich staff made that a big priority with their bench and anybody that was allowed in the stadium to try to create as much energy and noise from the sidelines and in the stadiums as possible. I'm curious if you guys have had conversations like that, and is that a priority more so when there aren't anywhere as many fans in the stands?
I think it sounds great, right? I think it sounds great, but I have the experience of being a player before. If I'm really cheering the guys on or the rest of the staff, I don't know how much of an impact it really has. Sounds really good. But honestly, I don't think it has the kind of impact. It's not. It doesn't come anything close to what the fans are like. For me.
Final question with Sean Goodwin with NBC, sir. FBA teams are settled on Kyrie, Johnny, if you win here, you see both guys switch left or right, you were season. Both guys seem to prepare to play on the right side of the game. The goal came down on the left side, right? What's your comment about those guys going forward? We haven't seen Daniel for a while, either on that left side. Any chance to say coming in?
First, I would disagree with you that they both can play on the right or left, for sure. And again, depending on an opponent, depending on the way they play, depending on personnel in that position that in the opposition they would face, one could be better than the other in that situation. And then you can't forget that we got other guys, right? Jerso, you got Daniel. So we have other guys that can play there. I mean, Boost can play there. Cam Duke can play there. So we do have a lot of other guys that can fit into those positions. Those guys have seen majority of the minutes up until now. We've also haven't really played a lot of games, to be honest with you. And so, like I said, when you start to see the number of games that we have coming up, I'm sure that you're going to see some different guys in there. And again, they'll be moving around. It's just part of my big thing is that I don't try to get too locked in. I like guys that can play multiple positions. But at the same time, I also like guys, they can play multiple positions, but they're a master of one of them. I like to think that our wingers the one thing that Kyrie has is he can play center forward, he can play left, right. He can do a lot of things, and his soccer IQ is very, very high for that kind of stuff. He's a guy that has incredible responsibility in the game, and that's what I probably appreciate the most about him.
Peter, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, everybody.
The meeting we have here in attendance, you can gather our friends. If you do need any B-roll from field level, this is your last chance to get it. We'll start the tour up at the concourse by one of the gates. You can stop by your cars as well as anybody to drop off equipment they currently have with them. Again, we have a tour that's leading up to the Kansas Speedway gate. To follow me, I'll lead you up there. Our president of the PDO safety will be leading that tour. Momentarily. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Staying safe.
Yeah.